Hello, Carrots here. Welcome to Generation 1, Episode 2 of the McFluff story. We have Iris and Gerry, who are housemates. They've both recently arrived separately in Dark Harbour, and they've set up house together, not as housemates even, they've just simply sharing a house. They don't know each other very well yet. I'm hoping love will blossom. Iris had a wish to upgrade something, so I got her to upgrade the microwave. And here's Gerry. He's eating some leftovers before he goes to work. There's Iris still at work on the microwave in the kitchen. She wants to upgrade, I think it's 10 objects, and this will be number 6 or 7. So she's got to upgrade a few more to get her wish. I'm chasing lifetime happiness points. There's the car waiting for Gerry to go to work at the science lab. There he is. That's the science lab. That was already placed when I opened Dark Harbour. Most of the other buildings and rabbit holes I've had to put in there myself, but the science lab is in the rural area near the ocean. Back at home, the microwave's been upgraded successfully, and Iris has decided she needs some breakfast too. Both ate leftovers this morning. When she got her breakfast out of the fridge, she heated hers up in the microwave. But Gerry couldn't because she was upgrading the microwave at the time. And she's already upgraded the sink a few days ago, so she couldn't upgrade it again. I want to leave it as self-cleaning, and the microwave has been upgraded to better cooking. They're both on free will, and I'm sort of directing them to get to know each other better, but also I'm leaving it up to them as well. She's already mastered gardening, so she doesn't really need to watch this. But I thought she should see what cowplants can do. Now, she's going downstairs to work in the garden for a while. She doesn't need the gardening skills, so I probably won't leave her there for long. But the gardeners have already showed up. She's got gardeners hired to take care of the gardening for her, so that the garden will always be tended and the harvesters will be stored in the fridge. But she doesn't have to do it herself. As a matter of fact, she doesn't need to garden at all ever again because she's mastered gardening. Gerry, however, still has quite a lot of work to do on his gardening skill. Now, if you're wondering, the gardeners are as a result of me having a mod, gardener service mod. I think it's available from Mod The Sims. The number of gardeners turn up each day depending on the size of the garden, and when they finish, if any work hasn't been done, it just automatically gets completed. So the garden is always fully weeded, watered, fertilised and tended and harvested every day, and the harvestables are all put in the fridge automatically at the end of the day. Now, she also had a wish to improve her sculpting skills, so I stopped her from gardening and sent her to work on sculpting. She is working on a wooden sculpture at the moment, but she still needs to make one more clay sculpture. There are certain achievements to do with sculpting that they can get, and they need to do 5 of each of clay, wood and stone, and they've got to do 25 of ice. Once they've done 25 ice sculptures, any future ice sculptures they do don't melt ever. So it's good for them to work towards that, get all their 25 ice sculptures done. I have an ambition to decorate a house with ice sculptures and then light it with all different coloured lights. And I'm planning that as a long-term wish for me personally. It will probably not happen until Generation 5 of the McFluff story, when the sculptors there's a group of 3 sculptors that I've got that have already been at old Gertie's house, and they can make every single sculpture between them that is available in those sculpting stations. So they will probably be putting an appearance again. Now, she's just sculpted a little potty chair in wood. But now she's made one, I can ask her to make that as many times as I like, and I can get her to make it in clay or in wood or in stone or even in ice. Then she had to read a recipe. She wanted to learn another recipe, and that was what she was doing upstairs. She was reading a recipe. Now, in the meantime, Gerry has finished work for the day, and he's gone to the greenhouse because he wanted to harvest a wild plant, and he also wanted to collect some seeds. And he could do both at the greenhouse, and while he was there I got him to collect some suns as well, because Iris went on a bit of a shopping spree back at home, and she spent a lot of their simoleons. I thought it'd be fun for them to have a gyroscopic conductor out in the basement, and she also bought a video game console so that they could play video games on the TV. But that gyroscopic conductor costs 7,000 plus simoleons. But he'll get 100 simoleons each for each of those suns when he collects them and sells them. This world is almost totally empty when you get it, and you can put whatever buildings you want in it. While he's there, I'll get him to try to buy something from each of those Humble Harvest stands. Now, back at home, Iris has just stopped playing a computer game just as I got there. That's a little incense from holder that they got from France, or belongs to France. I'm not sure how they got hold of it. See, she's gone. She was hungry. She went to the fridge and got leftovers and autonomously went straight to the microwave to reheat them. That's also a mod, but I don't quite know which mod it is. It'll probably be from Mod The Sims, though. I'll get a lot of my mods from there. Now I told her to upgrade the stove for better cooking, and left her to it, and when I came back later she'd gone to bed and she had a wish to sell the stove, and the stove had not been successfully upgraded. So I think something must have gone wrong while she was upgrading it, and she doesn't like that stove anymore. She wants to get rid of it. But I left her there doing that upgrade, and I went back to the garden to see what Gerry was up to, and he had paparazzi there. And I thought it was fun what happens next with these paparazzi. It's the same one as was in the library before. I think this paparazzi is following me around different games. I had assumed that they'd stick to the one game. You see, there's another one just showed up. Now, these two girls suddenly get very friendly, which I thought was funny. They're supposed to be there to report on him and his activities, but they're totally absorbed in each other. So now he's going to go picking up seeds. So he's got another wish granted. He's collected that seed. And he catches a few small pets too while he's in the greenhouse. It's a great place for all sorts of collecting. I think he got a hedgehog and a couple of lizards. He didn't catch a bird because he could only watch the bird, and I didn't want to waste time watching it. See, I've put extra things in here. That's the science station that I've added so that they can actually do gene splicing experiments on this lot, and that's a professional bar I put in here. There was a juice bar that came with it, but I took that out and put a professional bar there. So there's a mixologist that is assigned to it, and you can buy food and everything at that bar. And there's also some things there for the babies, the toddlers, the children. There's a swing, a toddler swing, and an activity table. Now there's plenty for Sims to do when they're here. That's a hedgehog. He caught the hedgehog. Now these two were telling ghost stories, and I just missed it. I was very surprised actually. That's the pair of paparazzi that you saw a few minutes ago that were taking photos of Gerry. And now they've been there all night, and all they're doing is chatting with each other while Gerry's looking for special things that are not usually available. And they're hard to find things. There they go, glow orbs. I find them very difficult to get a hold of. I usually only buy 2 or 3, but I went a bit overboard here and bought 10. But now he's got them, he can go take them home and plant them in the garden at home, because they need them for elixirs later on, if they ever do get to make elixirs. But that's the only thing he bought. He's got that negative moodlet there for now for a while, but he'll be fine. He'll get over it. Back at home. So now she's been shopping and she's bought the gyroscopic conductor and the video game console. She is in the culinary career. Now she wants to be a celebrated 5-star chef, and I also want her to get the fridge, but I wanted her to make sure she gets it and doesn't lose it when I move her to Hidden Springs eventually. But they're going to have to decide that to be together first, so they'll have to probably get engaged to be married before I take them to Hidden Springs. So there's Gerry at work, and we can just have a little bit of a look around where he is. That's the science facility from the ocean. There's something coming out there. Looks like some sort of a sewer, doesn't it? Or storm water drain or something. And Iris went to charisma class at the City Hall because she had a wish to learn the charisma skill. Well, I think she must have almost already had it, because when she came out, she advanced to level 2 in charisma. And you don't usually go to charisma spots by going to charisma class. But she got her lifetime happiness points awarded, so that's all that really mattered. And after class, she sat outside in front of the building that she had the charisma class in, and she read a story on her multi-tab. Now, Iris had been invited to a party, and she'd accepted that invitation as well. Here we are back at the science lab, just having another look at it. This is where Gerry is at work, and get a bit of a better look around. Now, I want you to look at the house in the distance on the left when we scan around towards it. Gerry's going to go to the festival grounds after work. See that house? That is that big, huge place. That's a house. It's covered with the greenhouse roof parts that came with the greenhouse. And I put 8 Sims in there, and some of them have moved on. But that's the house that Iris is going to go to for the party tonight. So we'll get a bit of a look around inside that place. And we'll get to meet some of the Sims that live in there as well. All the Sims I put in this house, most of them were already in other games that will probably be merged with this one eventually, so I actually gave them all makeovers and changed their names as well. Now that chap there playing with the ball there, he happens to be Gerry's boss at work. He's a mad scientist, Bill Barton. Now, I gave up on this hot dog eating competition because it just doesn't happen. But when I came back later on, Gerry was eating and the other 2 piles of hot dogs were left untouched. So I have a feeling he stayed there until everybody else wandered off, and then he decided to eat the hot dogs anyway. And this is where Iris works. And she is at work at the moment in the culinary career. Looks like she's just leaving work. I just got there just in time. And she walked around the outside of the building, found a tourist and started insulting him. Now, here he is. There's Gerry back at the festival grounds. That same paparazzi's there, but she's got her back to him. She's not even interested in him. I didn't check to see who she was taking photos of. Now, here's Iris. She's arrived at the party. So she's been very curious, wanting to have a look what's inside this huge house. And we will get a little look around, but we won't see much of it, because there's so much of it to see. It's mainly all gardens. So it was quite appropriate to use the greenhouse pieces. There's bedrooms for everybody. I think there must be 8 double bedrooms in here. And I only put 8 Sims in it, but there's only 6 left. She's changed into her party dress. I think I might need to give her another wardrobe. So that's the hostess. She is an old Sim from 2009 that I just gave a makeover. And I know her older name, but I've forgotten her new name. But we will find out shortly. This is the household currently living at number 3 Gravel Pass, Dark Harbour. Jacko Jackson is a genie. He's a loner, heavy sleeper, hates the outdoors, brooding and grumpy, and he wants to be a master magician. Bert Winterbottom is a human with disciplined, friendly gatherer, green thumb and adventurous, and he wants to be a seasoned traveller. Bill Thompson is human with traits of frugal, couch potato, bookworm, neat, green thumb, and he wants a bottomless nectar cellar. Hannah Hawker is human. She's our hostess for the party, and her traits are athletic, flirty, charismatic, green thumb, brave, and she wants to be super popular. Lana Flute is human. Her traits are charismatic, handy, green thumb, brave, and adventurous, and she wants to be a great explorer. Diana Devine is human. She has diva, schmoozer, bookworm, artistic, and natural-born performer traits. She wants to be a master acrobat. All but Jacko are based on other Sims that you'll find in other worlds as we continue watching videos that I have been making. And I'll probably link them up. If they get into the same world with their Sim that they're based on, I'll more than likely make them brother or sister or whatever of the other Sim once they end up in the same world. Now, before she went home, Iris decided to have a little explore around this house. And she found a wishing well and a climbing wall and a tree of prosperity, all in the garden level, which was the ground level. There's all sorts of things out. It looks like they've got a basement as well, because I can see a spiral staircase going down. It's a few years since I made this particular house. Obviously it was built after the greenhouse was released. It's a couple of the occupants of the house. They're having a little argument. So Iris has gone out to have a chat with Jacko now.
Grimla Chambligo? Ciao. Wandag Magdu Bim Diabolus. Yo Piba.
I was wondering what she was up to. She had that little fight with Jacko, and now she's come up to the crystal ball. See, they've got a little magic room in this house as well. I used to always have a magic room in my houses. I don't tend to do that these days, because that crystal ball gets really annoying when they just keep going to it. Jacko decided to go and have a bit of climbing practice on the climbing wall after his little arguments, and Iris ended her evening all alone when she found a drum set, and she spent the rest of the night until she got actually thrown out at 3 a.m. She spent the whole time playing drums. She was starting to sound rather good too in the end. Maybe I'll buy her a drum set one day. She can serenade Gerry with the drums. That might get his attention. Then she finally got tossed out, and it was so embarrassing. When she got out the front door, she wanted to get back in again, so she made a huge scene, screaming and shouting. I had to, in the end, just tell her to go home, because she obviously had no intentions of leaving. So then off she went, and all this time, back at home, Gerry's been planting all of those seeds that he picked up when he was at the greenhouse. So he's been advancing his gardening skill. Hasn't mastered it yet, but he's getting on with it. And they seem to have lots of money trees growing there. And now that's the end of the video. I do hope you've enjoyed it. We didn't quite do the things that I was hoping to do, but we did do some interesting things. This is a picture of the garden after Gerry has finished, or almost finished, planting in it. So I do hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video, when I'm hoping we might meet the Green family, who they have discovered also live in Dark Harbour. And we're wondering if there's any connection in their family trees. So, bye-bye for now. Thank you for watching, and happy simming.